Back in the day, the worst of the worst feared you. The legendary assassin. And now? How did this happen?
Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama. Welcome to our channel, Paws On Animation, and our Paws on Netflix segment.
In today's podcast, we're covering our first impressions of the newly released anime, Sakamoto Days.
This anime is based on the manga of the same name, showing the unintended adventures of a former hitman who settled down with the family and just wants to relax. Unfortunately, that doesn't work out for him. But
before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, and click notifications on future podcasts and World of Paws videos.
Thank you for joining us today, subscribing to our channels, supporting us, commenting, sharing our videos, everything you do specials. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
So we learned about this because of, yet again, Rascal.
Yes, and it was actually a couple years ago that we found the manga itself. It was along with that, Kaiju Number 8, Rooster Fighter. There were some ones that were released around the same time, and they had in our libraries. So this was one of the ones we tried, and it was such a crazy scenario as, okay, we have to really see how this is. Someone working a convenience store, used to be a hitman, and he looks like this and can still fight. I thought that was a pretty fun idea.
Yes. Now, for those of you not familiar with Sakamoto Days, it's based on a Japanese manga written and illustrated by Yuto Suzuki. It was serialized in Shueisha's Shonen Manga, Shonen Jump magazine since 2020, and all its chapters were collected into 20 volumes as of January 2025. And it's simultaneously published in English by Viz Media, so that we're able to read it all as well.
Right.
So there's this manga that has 20 volumes. There was a novel called Sakamoto Days, Kuroshia no Method, in April of 2023. Another manga called Sakamoto Days, Holidays.
No way.
That ran from July 4th of 2024 to the present. Currently is only one volume.
Oh, that's funny. Okay.
And as we're covering the anime series, which so far has only 4 episodes, as far as we know, it's exclusive to Netflix.
Right.
And it's been running since January 11th of this month.
Right.
Now, the anime is directed by Masaki Watanabe.
Right. And this could change later, because you've seen sometimes some Netflix animes or licenses end up going to Hulu and other services. So if you end up having some other things besides Netflix, you can look for the show on there too.
Right. And currently, we're going to get the first core now. The second core is not going to be released until July.
Okay, so they're going to be gone for a while. So we'll have to see how many episodes we get in the first core, because I don't think they announced the number of episodes for it.
No, not yet.
So, like as you said, right now there are 4 episodes as of recording this. And we only read the first volume of the manga because we were slightly put off by the amount of violence in there, but of course I should have expected. It's about a hitman group, so of course it would be in there. But we still wanted to give the anime a chance, as we didn't know it was going to get one so soon.
And 2 other things in addition to that. One, it was a little difficult getting the other volumes because you'd have to put them on hold.
Right.
And we actually were reading a lot of other volumes at the time. Demon Slayer. I was reading AOT. We were reading some other things that we weren't buying at the time.
Right.
We had started JJK, and we started getting them in the library, and I became so hooked, I began buying them.
Right.
And then secondly, you had COVID. It was affected by COVID as well, the release of the manga.
Yeah.
Excuse me, that's why I was delayed. And third, we were also watching
Buddy Daddy.
Thank you. I was going to say 2 daddies.
No.
Yes, Buddy Daddies. And that really had taken off, and many people were focused on that.
Right.
So that kind of took the place of Sakamoto Days for a
while. Yeah. So while we watch these episodes that released so far, one benefit from it, if you're interested in seeing it, is that it does stay 1-to-1 majority for the manga. The only minor changes that are in there is that Sakamoto talks a little more than usual.
Well,
and
that's what you're going to do when you have Mackie.
Right. I think that's why, because the whole thing was that he didn't speak that much, or his friend as the telepath could hear him in his thoughts, so you hear a little bit of that. But I guess they wanted to give him more dialogue to say because of who they got voicing him. So they didn't want him to stay silent the whole time.
I would neither.
And I think it's funny is that people have ever seen an increase of anime telepaths now. You had Psyche K, now you had Anya, and you had Mob Psycho, now you got this guy. It's like, where are there so many anime telepaths?
The idea of pairing up Sakamoto with a character that can read minds, as you mentioned, we think was inspired also by Spy Family.
Mm-hmm.
But the author says he was heavily inspired by action films such as The Equalizer, which you've never seen.
Right.
I've seen the movie with Denzel Washington, and our nana used to watch the first series that was out, not the one with Queen Latifah,
Right.
but the one that had an English actor.
Okay.
Decades ago, she used to watch it. And he was also inspired by John Wick.
Oh, you know, it makes sense because you can get a feel that it's sort of homaging action movies when you're watching, just like Licorice Recall was doing when that show was doing all those big budget action movies. So yeah, it has the same vibe.
And he also likes to use the Nihonga style of painting as an inspiration for drawing his backgrounds.
Okay.
And that uses mineral pigments and occasionally ink together with other organic pigments on silk or paper. And it actually came out during the Meiji period.
Okay, some new information.
Mm-hmm.
So, it is, as you said right now, it's majority accurate to the manga, at least for what we read of Volume 1. So after that, we won't know until we actually pick up more of the manga itself later on. And it's still a great mix of action. It's got comedy, has a little bit of drama. Though it does heavily lean into comedy when it needs to put in a lot of levity, because there are times where there's some heavy action scenes and they do get slightly graphic at times.
Mm-hmm.
They have the whole shtick that Sakamoto doesn't kill anymore because of his wife.
Mm-hmm.
And basically she threatens him if he ever kills anybody again or goes back doing hitman, she divorces him. So he doesn't do anything. He imagines hurting people in that way, but he doesn't actually do it.
And that
So
reminds you a lot of Way of the House Husband.
right. So what he does is when he's being targeted, he incapacitates them in some way. And they think they're dead, but they're not. They're usually unconscious. Not covering over for the dub. They're just unconscious, or they're injured, or they can't fight or something. So he has to find different ways of mobilizing them without taking their lives.
Now guess what? Hiromu Arakawa recommended reading his series.
Oh.
And that's when it actually took off.
Wow.
And he's actually won some awards. The Next Manga Awards in 2021. He won the UNEX Prize. And also he was nominated for the 68th Shokakugan Manga Award in 2022 as well.
Wow.
So that's heavy recommendation.
Yes.
Having her recommended. And so as of December of 2024, there are over 7 million copies that have been sold.
Okay, well, it's doing really well so far.
Yes. So let's talk about the characters. You already mentioned Sakamoto himself, voiced by Matthew Mercer.
Right.
Then you have Shin Asakura, who is the Esper, as they like to call him.
Esper, yeah.
And he used to be his protege, and he starts working for him, and he wants him to continue to train him.
Yes. And that's how a lot of their conversations end up going. Most of the time he can read his mind and he just talks through that. And he teaches him how to run the convenience store that the family owns. And that's pretty much his training now. And then the sort of self-defense and combat that doesn't require killing.
He's known as Shin the Clairvoyant.
Oh gosh, the names.
And he's voiced by Dallas Liu.
Okay.
Then you have Liu Xiaotang, and she's an 18-year-old daughter of a Chinese mob boss.
Right.
She's supposed to be analytical and competent, but she appears airheaded and she talks a lot of crap. She really does.
Yeah, it's like, you sure you're okay?
And when they meet her, she's being chased down by, I'm just going to say goons. They're hunting her to get a key that opens the safe.
Yeah, for the
that
family
has-
treasure.
Yes. Then we also have his wife, Aoi Sakamoto, or Aoi,
Mm-hmm.
and she's voiced by Rosie Okamura.
Mm-hmm.
And as you said, she loves him, but she's like, do it, and she'll leave him. So he's afraid. And then you have the 6-year-old daughter, Hannah, who's voiced by Grace Liu,
Mm-hmm.
L.U. And then lastly, we have Haisuke Mashimo, who is a hitman who specializes in sniping,
Mm-hmm.
and he holds the all-time record for the
course.
Japan Clear Creation.
Of course, there's a record.
And after he encountered Sakamoto and he encouraged him, he became a regular at the shop. And we did see him. He kind of reminds me of Scruffy.
Yeah, scruffy head.
He has a pet parrot who acts as his spotter named Pisky.
Oh my gosh.
So those are the main characters. And we're seeing the villains now coming in each episode. They are trying to take him out because in the first episode when he defeated some hitmen,
Yeah.
they didn't even know he was still around.
Right.
Now they know, so it's like the old West. Where you
Yeah.
had the old Westerns. Oh, you think you're the best gunslinger?
Like rifleman.
Well, we'll take you down. Yes.
Yeah.
And so now everyone's coming after him every episode to take him out. The last episode we watched 3 because they air on Sundays, I think.
I think
correct?
Sunday or Saturday for us.
He was being hunted down, and Shin ended up being poisoned with a knife.
Right.
And so it was a great scene that he was using his clairvoyance because he was blinded by the poison. His eyes were pink and he was turning pink.
Yeah.
And Sakamoto was guiding him clairvoyantly on how to take down the guy. He's like, well, how is this happening? You can't see. How is this happening? He should be dead by now. What's going on?
Yeah.
And he kicked his butt and was great. So they didn't show you that he got healed because, of course, you know he had to be healed.
Right, or else he'd be gone.
And then it would end up being like Garen Lagann.
Right.
And I don't think anyone wants another Garen Lagann type of situation where you fall in love with a character and they're so positive and it become pivotal to an anime and then they're killed. And the whole time you keep thinking they're going to come back and they never do.
Right.
So I think a lot of mangaka learned from that experience.
Yeah.
And the same thing with Rengoku and Demon Slayer.
Right.
You don't want to take out a character that is that loved and popular immediately because you love Shin and you
Right.
love Sakamoto.
Right. And my last thing to talk about is they have this running joke in here, especially online. You see Sakamoto before he got married and how he looks. And yeah, they want to show you he's hot. And then you see him now and he's relaxed and dad bod's putting it lightly. He's completely different from he was before now that he's married, has a kid, and he's eating a lot of ramen. And what's hilarious is that they keep showing flashbacks to before he got married to remind the audience this is what he looks like when he doesn't have all of the weight on him. And there's even a scene they haven't done yet that when he fights so hard, he burns off everything like fat gum and he goes back to how he was before. It's like reminding the audience, look, this is how he looks when he doesn't have this. So please stay on if you want to look at that.
So, if you read Sakamoto Days, let us know in the comments or any of the other shoot-off mangas. And if you've seen Sakamoto Days, the anime on Netflix, let us know in the comments. Are you enjoying it? If you read the entire manga series to date, is it staying and maintaining one-to-one like it looks like it has so far from the one volume we've read? And do you recommend we continue to pick it back up and read the manga? Let us know. If you haven't seen it, it's available on Netflix as far as we know exclusively. If you have Netflix, add it to your watch list. Take a look. You are absolutely going to love it.
Yes.
By episode 3 now,
far.
we are loving it, and we're definitely sticking with that. And if you have other manga or anime you want to recommend to us, please feel free to do so in the comments.
And if you haven't already, subscribe for updates to Boogie Videos for your anime series, anime shows, and all things animation.
And thank you so much again for joining us for this Paws on Netflix podcast. We appreciate you so much. As always,
you are special. Thank you so much for watching. Rascal Entertainment.
And I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace.
大切な人を守るために使うと決めたんだ。それが今の俺の強さだ。